trial attorney Kelly Hyman and retired Deputy Inspector Corey Pegues. Okay, so in terms of what the state has done, proving its case against Zachary Latham, Kelly Hyman, let me start with you on this one, please. Do you think they are carrying their burden if they're telling us they're just going to finish up with this witness who's on the stand and going to pick back up tomorrow and then call maybe one more person? Have they presented a case that is sufficient to go to the jury?
Well, ultimately, the jury's going to make a determination based on the facts and evidence of whether they are successful in that and do that. But, you know, it's an interesting case because it's going to boil down a lot to, you know, he said, she said, in trying to understand. But I think it's important the prosecution has done a good job of laying down the roadmap of kind of what happened before, rather than just looking at the isolated incidents of the video itself. But self-defense is a good argument, and we're going to have to see, you know, how that plays out. But I do believe the prosecution has done a good job for the state.
Appreciate it, Kelly. Let's take a listen to some of what Timmy Durham's widow told the jury when she took the stand.
Now, you say that on the video, your words were, "Did you hit me?" And you repeated that twice, correct?
Correct.
At any point up to when you made that statement, did the defendant strike you?
He did.
Where did he strike you?
He made contact with me with his right arm.
At any point did you attempt to assault the defendant?
No.
At any point did you attempt to assault his wife?
No.
So they're saying that happened very close in time to the brawl, that this is what, you know, precipitated that. Corey Pegues, tell me, does that change anything in the fact pattern for you that the defendant is alleged to have assaulted Tiffany Durham first before all the melee broke out in his garage with the Durham family?
Well, again, like Kelly said, the jury, you know, I have to sit back and look as a juror. Do I believe that that's going to factor? Me personally, I don't. When looking at that video, the assault was so minimal. He just like reached his arm out of the vehicle. I don't think it was, you know, anything anywhere near an assault. There was no injuries that we know about. There's no pictures. We don't see no injuries at all. So her calling out an assault is like, but then again, you know, they had a long-running feud. So the husband was at this point sick and tired of this young man. He's only 17 years old. I mean, you're like harassing my wife, harassing my son. So I get that. I just wish that this would have turned out a lot different. I wish that they would have called. After he assaulted her, she should have immediately called 911 and said, I was allegedly assaulted by this gentleman and he lives at this location.
Had that happen, her husband could have potentially still been alive today. You're absolutely right, Corey. It should have ended right there. And this long-running feud was just exacerbated by what Zachary Latham was doing on TikTok. I really think these prosecutors need to hone in on that there's an important backdrop to this, that he was antagonizing them to get likes and become popular, trying to go viral with the videos. And we know the kids were dragged into this because sometimes the kids were the targets. You know, the reason that Tiffany Durham said that she had confronted him when she was hit was because he tried to drive his car into their little son, Gage. Let's take a listen to what the other son said. This is Billy Durham. I want to play a clip of his testimony talking about when his dad was pulling up to Zachary Latham's house.
When you pulled up, Gage was already talking to Sarah, right?
Sarah said that you're not going to like what he has for you.
Gage told you that Zach was getting a gun.
Gage said that. I don't know if that was to me.
Okay. And Sarah said he's not, right?
Yes.
And your dad pulled up.
Yes.
And he got out of his truck.
Yes. And
that information was relayed to him, right?
Yes.
And his response was, get the gun, get the gun.
Yes.
Okay, so clearly that's a clip from Cross. You could see where the witness is being led there through that. Kelly Hyman, tell me, you know, with these witnesses who were the closest people in the world, arguably, to the man who was killed here. You know, his kids, his wife, all of that. How do you think their testimony came in here? You know, did it come in and help the state's case? You know, was it kind of not moving the ball forward for the state because of the crosses that were kind of harsh? I will say Tiffany Durham's cross was pretty harsh. What do you think?
I think you bring up a really good point. The defendants did a great job, you know, on the cross as well. Absolutely. But as you know, Julie, the prosecution has the burden and has to prove each one of the elements of the cause of actions. And I do believe that they did a good job. I think it's going to be a hard case no matter what. And it's sad the way it turned out because no one should have died because of this. But absolutely, I think that the evidence is going to potentially turn out ultimately for the jury to make a determination on that fact.
Appreciate it so much. Kelly Hyman, Corey Pegues, thank you both for your time and analysis. We'll have you both back on soon.